Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time.
I was just going to start out with thank you for listening to this episode of Queers of Time. You can find us every week.
Starting at the end.
Every week, as always, thank you to our feral venerators of Soirain, Lurks, Morshadi, Charlie, and John. We appreciate your patronage so much. And it allows us to do this stuff. Like talk about Rings of Power.
That's right.
The end of Rings of Power for now.
Yes, I was going to say for now, yes.
In this episode, we'll be talking about Season 2, Episode 8 of Rings of Power, Shadow and Flame. It was the finale. What did you think of it overall?
There were parts that I really liked. There wasn't, actually, I'll go even further than that. That's not true. There were a few things that I did dislike that were, or maybe not dislike, but there were things that I was like, Question mark? Huh?
Right. Very Scooby.
Yes, very much that. But it was just, there was a lot going on, which we we figured this was going to be the case. We've kind of been talking about it as we've, been watching the episodes this season, but they have a lot of plot lines going. And it was just, it was a lot to wrap up in one episode. And I was actually surprised that it wasn't a longer episode, too. That it wasn't a longer runtime.
Yeah, I agree. It was only 1 minute. It was the longest of the season so far, but it was only 1 minute longer than the previous episode.
Yeah.
I think it was the longest one.
I think so. Possibly the premiere is longer?
I'm going through all of Season 2 right now.
Okay. It's possible that I just think the premiere is longer because they came out, there were multiples that came out.
Nope, it was the longest one of the season.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I pretty much feel the same. Like, it was, there were some parts where I was, okay with it, but I sent you a message when we were 20 minutes in, and I was like, we're 20 minutes in, and I've already gone through 4 plot points.
Yep.
Because there's a lot.
Yep. And that's what I was like, oh, okay, this is good to know. I mean, it's kind of, it at least, it's not a surprise. It's not surprising. We knew that this was going to be the case going into it, but still, it's, especially for a season finale, it just feels like a lot going on.
Yeah, it really does. I feel like a season finale should be focused on the main plot points, and it seems like this one, it was focused on everything, even the ones that didn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But let's get started, I guess, with the first of the plot points, which is the dwarves. Durin the Third is attacked by the Balrog that lives below the Mithril Mine. He names Durin the Fourth, Prince Durin, king, and before fighting back as the cavern collapses. It's a very, very short description, but he leaves his ring to Prince Durin and names him king. So yeah, what did you think? I mean, I liked this.
I did too. See, this is, it's funny. Some of the plot points that are longer and more expanded are the ones where I would have preferred to be a little bit scaled back. And then the ones that I would have preferred were bigger and more, tied into the overall plot, we get less of. And the dwarves, like Prince Durin and his father and everything like that, that is one of those storylines because, I liked it. I thought it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was very sad. It was great. That shot of the Balrog, of King Durin and facing the Balrog is very, very good. I'm sure there's already a lot of GIFs and screenshots and photo sets of that moment because it is really a great moment.
Yeah, I really like that specific shot because I presume that that's sealing the Balrog away a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would still be worried because that's a thin layer of rock just between you and a Balrog.
Right? And it's a Balrog. Like, they're they're kind of strong.
Yeah, I'm curious as to like how how Moria is going to like get its wealth in Mithril if they aren't going to explore that, but maybe they're just gonna like hold off on going to that specific area of Mithril.
That's my suspicion. They're gonna, because now they're in a position where they need resources.
Right.
They're in a difficult position, and I'm assuming that's going to be their main sort of tension, I think, for the dwarves in season 3. That's my assumption. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see going forward, because we know, and obviously this is like we know already that the dwarves are going to make like the buying and selling of Mithril a big thing. Like it's going to be
right. It's their primary export. Yeah,
exactly. So obviously they must find another deposit, like significant deposit of Mithril somewhere safer.
Hopefully.
I certainly hope so. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, I was a little bit curious. I thought it was interesting that seeing the Balrog was all it took to cure King Durin's ring sickness. Like, I'm not buying it, I guess. It wasn't enough for me given how deep he was in it.
No, because he's... So I am going to choose to believe it was the combination, whether this is true or not. I'm choosing to believe it's the combination of the words that his son already said to him, combined with Prince Durin trying to save his father and being, like, thrown back very...
right.
Like almost, like potentially almost killed, in defense of his father, and his father, it clicking and realizing like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm choosing to believe, but I don't disagree with you. It seemed like it was very thematic. It was very, it's good television, but after everything that's happened, it's, I don't know.
It was cute. It was cute, but that's about all it was.
You're not wrong.
Trying to think what other notes I had here. I thought the line, "No matter what you hear, do not follow me down that mine," from Prince Durin to Disa was really good. Kind of like sets the tone for it. And of course she doesn't listen.
Of course not, because she's Disa. And
because why would she?
She is, they are the definition of ride or die. Like they're gonna.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna also, just going back a bit, the look of just pure relief on his face when he got to Disa at the beginning, and saw that she was okay, was just, I love them.
It was nice.
I like them a lot.
I love them a lot too.
Yeah. They're very sweet. I
did think it was funny when Prince Durin was just straight up admitted to his father, "No, I can't actually use this axe against you."
Yeah. I mean, it was a good sort of reversal of what usually happens in situations like that, where it's just like the person, whatever character it is, overcomes that sort of barrier or finds another way to do it. And Prince Durin is just like, "No, I can't. You're right. You're absolutely right. I cannot do this."
Yeah. At the end of the episode, we have Prince Durin being told that he might not be the heir to King Durin.
Yeah. Huh?
That seems like a very unnecessary plot point for season 3.
Did we know that he had... Have they talked about his siblings before?
I don't think so.
Neither... Yeah, because I feel like I would remember that. I don't remember him having a brother, let alone a brother who could potentially take the throne instead of him. It was always kind of, I think... It's always been implied and assumed that he was the next in line for the throne.
Yeah, his name is Prince Durin. His name is Durin the Fourth.
Yes. So
I'm having a hard time.
I'm confused. I am confusion. That was one of the points where I was like, huh? I don't know. I am assuming it's to create tension for next season, so that
right.
So that there's more going on, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Just purely on an aesthetic level, the scene where they're mourning, and I understand they're mourning King Durin, Disa's hair was laid. Her hair looked so good. Her hair was laid. Like, I don't know who does her hair, but someone is doing their job because it looked...
You know Disa does her own hair.
You're absolutely right. Disa absolutely does her own hair. It looked good. That's my aesthetic comment.
Disa's hair looked good.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Next we want to move on to the stranger, who we finally know is Gandalf.
Finally.
So the stranger confronts the Dark Wizard and rejects his offer to supplant Sauron. The Dark Wizard destroys the canyon, forcing the stores to migrate. Nori and Poppy join them. The stranger finds a staff in the canyon, believes he will become to known as Gandalf. He will come to be known as Gandalf. I know how words work. We got a Manwë mention.
We did, which I did appreciate. I did appreciate that. He said, Manwë promised you would come. I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. Continue. So it's confirmed, it seems like, that he is one of the 5 wizards, one of the 5 Sistar.
Right.
But which one is he? It's the question.
That's my question. Like, which one is he? Because he can't... If he's Saruman, I'm going to be so mad.
I know. I feel like, because this is the thing, James, every time I look at his hair, it gives me Saruman vibes. I just feel like he has to be someone important. He has to be, because the only 3 wizards that we like that are named are Gandalf, Saruman, and Radagast.
Right, and he's not Radagast.
He's not Radagast. He is, I at this point, I doubt he is one of the blue wizards. It doesn't make sense.
So that means he has to be Saruman.
So he has to be Saruman, which enter the annoyance.
Last season, we were annoyed about who Gandalf was. Mm-hmm. This season, we're annoyed about who Saruman is.
Mm-hmm. And so it continues.
I did think it was dumb that the Dark Wizard just straight up killed Brank, the guy with the...
Yes.
Like, what was the purpose of all of that then?
I thought... This is the thing. This is why they're doing too much, because it felt like we were leading towards something at one point. Mm-hmm. Like there was going to be some big reveal, like because Brank kind of teased, like, oh, like you'll see who we are, like something along those lines. And then he was just killed, and I was like, so who are they? Like what? Right. I don't understand. And like right before he was killed, he says, like, we used to be kings, and I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, like, who are you people?
Who are you?
I don't know. It was just really, really weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a nice line from the Dark Wizard saying, you pity him whose blade was at your throat, and Nori just responds, yes.
Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, because I'm not a fucking sociopath, dude.
She's like, yeah, because I have a heart.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, he does, like, what he says right after is technically true. Pity will not defeat Sauron, which is true. But, well, no, it's not. Because as we find in Lord of the Rings, like, the whole reason that Frodo is able to destroy the One Ring is because he pitied Gollum. He showed pity on Gollum. And the reason that the ring ends up in Bilbo's hand is because Bilbo pitied Gollum as well, mm-hmm. and didn't kill him when he could have. And so, Mr. Dark Wizard, who may or may not be Saruman, you are incorrect. I take back my statement. You are just wrong. All wrong.
You are just wrong.
All wrong. And I do appreciate that it's a hobbit who's saying this, because like obviously later on hobbits become quite important to Sauron's story and to Sauron's eventual defeats. And so I thought it was a nice touch to show Nori, who could very well be, some kind of ancestor of Bilbo or Frodo or something like that, showing pity even to someone who very obviously intended her harm.
Right. No, I thought it was good. It was a nice little moment between Nori and, I guess, just between Nori.
Yeah, just Nori.
I was a little bit confused as to why Gandalf was there. First of all, because the last we saw, he was in the forest being told to choose his staff, and that it was apparently just a test from Tom Bombadil.
Which I feel like we did say last episode too. Like we suspected that was the case, so not a surprise, but still.
Not a surprise, but I was still it took me out of it for a second, being like, wait, why is Gandalf here? I thought the Dark Wizard's plan to ally Gandalf with him to destroy a bunch of hobbit holes was just like
baffling.
That's not Saruman level thinking.
No, baffling. It just doesn't make sense. It's like because it's clear that Gandalf very cares about Nori and Poppy,
right?
And then also seemingly would care about the things that Nori and Poppy care about, which are the stores. So why would you think that doing things to harm them would make, would bring Gandalf to your side? It just doesn't. It felt messy.
It felt very messy. It felt like not wizard level thinking.
No.
It was just silly.
Yeah, it's very odd.
I like that it was a chance for Gandalf to show off his powers.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, I was just like, meh.
Yeah.
Mid.
Yeah, I agree. I do, because of this is what makes essentially forces the stores to begin their migration. And I'm assuming that this will eventually lead to all of the stores and the Harfoots and the, what's the third one? Fallowhides?
Fallowhides, yep.
Fallowhides, eventually coming to find the Shire. I'm assuming this is the beginnings of that. But still, I don't know. I feel I like Nori a lot. I like Poppy a lot. I liked learning about the Harfoots and the stores. It was very sweet and very touching. It just feels so disconnected from everything else that's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I wrote near the end of this episode when Gandalf says he's Gandalf. A little bit before that, Nori and Poppy go off with the Stores. And I'm just like, I hope that's the last we see of halflings in the Rings of Power. I truly hope that.
Yeah, I was I think I wrote, what did I put in my notes? I was like, I don't know how this is gonna be a thing next season. Oh no, I hope we see Nori next season. I like her a lot. But that's because I like Nori. So
I like Nori too. It's just for this, unless they're going to be a big purpose. The show is called Rings of Power. It's not called The Founding of the Shire.
I agree. Yeah, they need to start. I would love for them to start streamlining things a little bit more.
They have a lot going on, and it shows that they have a lot going on. These first two plot points, the dwarves and the stranger and Gandalf, could have been streamlined a lot. But yeah, that's all I had about Gandalf. We find out Gandalf is Gandalf.
Yep. Because Grand Elf, get it?
Yep. Gandalf gets his staff. He and Tom Bombadil sing together, which is nice. I thought that was really nice.
I liked that. Yeah, and I'm a big sucker for. I love listening to musical scores, specifically for fantasy and sci-fi and all that jazz. And I love it when shows or movies do that thing where a person is singing a song and it sort of transitions into the orchestral version of the song that they're singing, of the tune they're singing. And they did that at the end. And I was like, okay, this is the music in general, honestly, I've liked it this season. It's been good.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really good. I've enjoyed it. They did the Wheel of Time route. Well, they did bigger than that because they did a new soundtrack for each episode.
Which is impressive.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. I am very much more, I like when there are themes attached to specific characters or locations, because it's just a very, that connects them, which they do sometimes, because with Khazad-dûm, they have a similar theme that goes throughout. And I like that, but, I'm much more of that sort of style of scoring, but still very well done.
No, I agree. I really like the score so far in Rings of Power. I think Bear McCreary is doing a really good job with it.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Do we have anything else on Gandalf or Nori or Poppy?
No, I don't think so. He said, like, I did note that he said Gandalf. That's what they're going to call me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is very reminiscent of when they meet in the Two Towers, when they meet back up with Gandalf the White. And he's like, they call him Gandalf. He's like, Gandalf the Grey. That's what they used to, that was my name.
Right.
Like that moment of realization. And I was like, okay, well, you get one, and this better be it.
You get one.
You get one.
So the next one I have here is Numenor and Pelargir. Which I feel like we're starting out with the lame ones because we're going to get to the good one, Eregion, very soon. But
yes,
this one could have been cut entirely.
Oh, they could have had this wrapped up in episode 6.
This could have been anyway. Okay, let's
go back. Sorry, I got a little bit too.
Ar-Pharazôn learns from the Palantir that Halbrand is Sauron and accuses Miriel of aligning himself with him, discrediting the results of her trial. All the faithful are arrested except for Elendil, who escapes to the island's west with the sword Narsil. Kemen claims Pelargir as a military outpost. Isildur asks Estrid to return to Numenor with him, and Kemen does not allow this and leaves Isildur... Wait, blah, 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 blah. Isildur asks Estrid to return to Numenor with him, but Kemen does not allow this, and Isildur leaves Estrid with Hagen. So first of all, I don't care about these people.
No. As in Estrid and Hagen, yeah?
As in Estrid and Hagen, like...
Yes.
We finally get back to Isildur and Theo, and I barely care about Theo.
I will say, I am happy to see Theo happier.
I agree.
That did make me happy.
It's like he has a purpose again.
Yes, so that and then that was quickly ripped away from him by the fuckface. But anyway, still.
Yeah, they've been gone for so long from Pelargir that I don't understand. I wrote, this is what happens when there's too many storylines. You forget about entire fucking characters that are supposed to be important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's wild that I forgot that Isildur was a character in this show.
I did too.
Which, quite frankly, is bananas.
He was gone for like 7 episodes.
Yeah. It's just, it's too much. It's too much.
There's too much going on that we forget that Isildur is a character in Rings of Power.
Isildur. That shouldn't be a thing. I shouldn't be forgetting that Isildur is someone who exists. That hurts my soul as a Tolkien fan.
Yeah, it was just messy.
Mm-hmm.
Back at Pelargir, Kemen shows up, our favorite Kemen, who declares that it's supposed to be like an outpost or something.
Yeah.
Kemen was shook at seeing Isildur, though.
Oh, his face was so delicious. It's too bad. It's too bad that Isildur didn't understand. Like, Isildur does not have the context for everything that's gone on.
Right.
His face was so fucking delicious, though. Oh my god. He's just like, oh no.
It was amazing. I loved seeing Kemen just be like, oh, your sister will be so happy you're alive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, like, he's gonna, I'm assuming he's gonna get back to, assuming he gets back. Well, no, he's gonna get back. That was a silly thing to say. Of course, Isildur is gonna be okay for now.
Yeah.
But he's gonna get back to Numenor, find out all of the fuckery that's gone on, and he's gonna turn to his beautiful, wonderful sister and say, hey, what the fuck?
Right. I don't understand what's gonna happen in season 3 for them.
Yeah, I don't either. It's,
Also, when did Kemen get on board a ship?
I don't know.
I don't think that was shown at all. I think they just, like, hand-waved it.
Yeah, I don't think that was shown at all.
Beric got a shout-out, though.
Love that.
I love that callback to episode 1.
We love and appreciate Beric the horse. He's great. He's a good horse.
And then Kemen threatened Beric to eat Beric.
So let me scroll down and read exactly what I put in my notes, because Kemen is on my last nerve. He's been on my last nerve, but he's especially on my last nerve now. Yeah, I put, can someone please take care of this motherfucker? Like, he's not strong. Anyone could do it, really. Come on.
Just slit his throat.
Just do it. Please. Someone take one for the team.
No one's going to say anything.
No, they'll be fine.
I mean, Isildur tried, kind of, but then...
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Back to Numenor.
Mm-hmm.
Arianne is the worst.
Oh my god.
Continues to be the worst. Continues to see that there are consequences to her actions.
Imagine that.
I did think it was very interesting that Pharazôn sees something in the Palantir and then makes it into law somehow, like as justification. Like, what kind of proof was on that letter that Halbrand was Sauron?
Right?
But I guess okay.
Aside from the word of the king,
Which, I guess is enough.
For a lot of people, in that society, I'm assuming it's enough. So, considering how, our Pharazôn has warped a lot of people's thinking,
right.
and impressions of Muriel and all of that. And also, do we think that he, what he's communicating is actually what he saw? Or is he just, like, taking the bits and pieces that he saw and making assumptions out of them?
I assume he saw the truth, but I think he's going, because that's the whole thing with the Palantiri, is they show you the truth, but they often lead you to the worst conclusions.
Exactly.
So I think he's sharing the truth that Halbrand was Sauron, but the conclusion that he's going to is that Muriel is aligning with him.
Right.
Which is not accurate.
No, and my god, what a jump. What a jump that is.
Yeah.
Not skipping a jump.
I do think with Muriel, so Muriel is staying in Numenor and not going with Elendil. Which is noble, but dumb.
Yep, because what canonically happens is our Pharazôn essentially forces her to marry him.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
I mean, given the pacing of the show and how quickly they're doing things, we're going to open season 3 with a wedding between the two of them.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
We do get to see Narsil, which is very cool.
I did love that moment. That was great.
Yeah.
That made me very happy. When he it shows the close up of the sort of thing on the sheath of the sword. And he says the white flame, and I was like, okay, here we go. Are you going to draw the sword now? Can you make this even better? And he did. He did draw it, and it was great.
It was very good.
Yes.
It was very good. I enjoyed seeing Narsil. I enjoyed seeing Elendil be kingly. It was great. Yeah.
It's very. So I do appreciate the Elendil part of this storyline. I feel like they're doing a good job with him. And how they're pacing it out and how making it believable that he becomes king, like it makes sense the way that things are happening now. I'm like, yeah, I can see this. I can see him going from who he was before as sort of the captain, to becoming the king of Gondor, which,
yeah, I can see it. Absolutely. I don't know how it happens in the books because I'm not a Numenor person, but
oh boy, I'm gonna have to remember now. I think it actually, like, given how they've ended the show, it actually seems like it's kind of going to line up with how it happens in the books. Because there is this whole, like, essentially cult that happens, but it's kind of the other way around, where, because Sauron is in Numenor at one point, and he's like actively, fucking with them, and there becomes this whole sort of cult with that's unknowingly, I think, being led by Sauron, or like teaming with Sauron, that our Pharazôn gets tied to as well.
Okay.
My memory could be really bad at this, but I think that's something of what happens. And then the fall of Numenor happens, and it becomes not good.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then the founding and everything of Gondor and all of that comes later, because obviously they escaped. Some of them escaped to Middle Earth, or to the other side of Middle Earth. And Elendil is one of those people. And
Okay.
he essentially becomes he's in position by that point to become king.
Okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah. So it seems it actually I didn't think so before, but seeing how things have kind of played out now, I can see where they're going with Numenor. I'm interested to see where the fall of Numenor is going to come, though.
Yeah, I assume that has to be season 3.
It has to be. I'm assuming the finale of season 3, because it's a pretty big thing that happens.
It's a big, big thing, yeah.
Yes, it's a very big thing that happens. The way that it happens might be a little bit different, or how it comes to be, but we'll see. I'm interested. I hope they get more focus, because I like Numenor a lot. So
Yeah, I think season 3 will be all about Numenor, but again, who knows? Who knows what they're doing?
Who knows? We'll see.
Do we have anything else on Numenor or Pelargir? Because
No.
I don't. I'm ready to get into the action that is Eregion, which is where most of this episode happens. Like, I have a separate note thing just for Galadriel stuff, but Eregion, in Eregion, Sauron kills Celebrimbor and takes the 9 rings from Galadriel, while Adar is killed by disillusioned orcs. Durin the Fourth sends an army of aid to the elves, allowing Gil-galad, Elrond, Arondir, Galadriel, and other survivors to escape to a valley north of the city, where they resolve to stand against Sauron. I love that the first shot that we got was just actively Celebrimbor being killed by Sauron.
It was rough. It was good, but that scene was also fantastic.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, that was good. Oh, that was good.
It was a great, like, good 10 minutes of film.
Yes, it was so good. Like, what's the? I can never remember the Vickers.
Yeah, Charlie Vickers.
Charlie Vickers. That's it. Yeah, him and Charles Edwards. Just absolutely phenomenal. They've been consistently just excellent in their, like, both in their scenes together and apart. I mean, most of their scenes have been together, but they've been just consistently great this entire season.
Yeah.
And this was like the pinnacle of that greatness. It was so good.
And we still see Sauron gaslighting Celebrimbor. Like, the first thing he says in this episode is, "Look what you have done to yourself."
It's just... So I wrote, even as Celebrimbor is literally bleeding out, Sauron is still gaslighting, gatekeeping, and girl-bossing him. He is still... like, what? Sauron.
Like, who are you lying to? You're lying to yourself at this point.
This is the thing.
Fine. I mean, that's what Celebrimbor said last episode. Like, you can lie even to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I really loved seeing this villainous side of Sauron, because I feel like we saw it in the last episode a little bit, but we get to see it even more here.
Yes.
And we get to see that he's actually evil. And
just the casual cruelty of him, you know? I did kind of like bristle when he spoke of the fall of Gondolin. I was like, how dare you? How dare you talk about that? Don't you speak about Gondolin, Sauron?
yeah, I loved that. It's very reminiscent of what happens in the books in this scene, because Sauron does capture Celebrimbor and tortures him. Celebrimbor eventually does reveal the location of the 16 rings.
Yes.
But hides the location of the 3 in the books. But in this one, he just hides the location of the 9. So it's close enough for me.
It's close enough, and it makes sense. I think it makes sense with sort of the plot that they've built for the show. It makes sense. I'm not mad about it at all. Yeah. Oh my god, it was so good. There were a couple lines that sort of jumped out at me. Your only craft is treachery, which was excellent.
10 out of 10.
Shadow of Morgoth, the rings of power shall destroy you. And this is the point where Sauron started getting really bothered.
Oh, Sauron got so bothered.
Ooh! He was getting heated.
The full quote was, "Shadow of Morgoth, hear the dying words of Celebrimbor. The rings of power shall destroy you, and in the end I foresee one alone shall prove your utter ruin. Blah, blah. And in the end I foresee one alone shall prove your utter ruin." Like, that's a good...
Love it.
And then he says, Sauron, Lord of the Rings.
Yes. And he said, I think just before he was like, no, you are their prisoner.
Yes.
Because Sauron said that he was going to be, he's going to be the master of the Lord or whatever the case is. And Celebrimbor's response is, no, you are their prisoner. And then ends with Sauron, Lord of the Rings, which was perfection.
It was a good ending for Celebrimbor.
Yes.
I truly do hope he gets some awards for this performance.
Me too, because he's been just phenomenal. He's been so great in this. I've really enjoyed his performance.
I don't understand why Sauron was crying at the end, unless he had lied to himself like so much that he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I had to do this." Blah blah blah. So that's the only thing I could think of.
I'm gonna be a little bit cynical and just say they really want us to feel bad for Sauron. I think that's what it is. Which,
yeah,
I'm going to say something very brave and very heartfelt. We don't need to feel bad for all villains.
We really don't.
We don't need to. It's not a necessary thing. Sometimes villains are just evil, and that's okay. They can just let them be evil. There doesn't need to be a reason behind it. There doesn't need to be a big sob story. Just let them be evil.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and this is the point where I'm like, after all of this evil that we're seeing from Sauron, people are still shipping him and Galadriel.
It's so fucking weird. I'm sorry. I know there are people who are really into this ship. It's just...
It's fucked up.
I don't get it.
It's so fucked up.
I don't get it. I don't understand how you can sit here and watch that scene and then get heart eyes, later on when, because Galadriel and Sauron are fighting. Look, they're so
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't want to get it. I think these people need help.
It's so weird to me. I'm sorry. I know, listen, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum.
I do. I do. That is Galadriel you're talking about.
Yes, show some respect, please, my god. And this isn't even a Celeborn thing. It's not even in that sense.
Fuck Celeborn. I don't care about that.
No, I don't care about him. It's just this is Galadriel. I don't understand. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a little bit of a tangent, but...
Yes, that was a tangent.
We see... Wikipedia didn't have a good, description of this, but Galadriel is leading people to safety, and she encounters some orcs, and she just freely offers the 9 rings as, a bargaining piece.
I was like,
Why did she just pull... That's a bad trade for this, half a dozen people.
Yeah, I get... And also, it feels kind of like a slap in the face to Celebrimbor's sacrifice, because he gave you those rings specifically to keep out of hands that could use them for dark things.
Right. Yeah, I was very confused by this. I was confused as to why she would just pull them out. She could have either taken all of those orcs or figured something else out.
Yeah.
Rather than be like, here are the 9 rings of men to just this random orc, and this random orc is supposed to know what they are. And
right?
it was just a bad trade.
Yeah. I didn't understand it, but
yeah.
I guess they needed a way to get it away from Galadriel, and this was the way they chose.
And then we go and we see Galadriel sees Adar. Apparently Adar puts on Nenya.
Listen, okay.
So the thing is, Nenya is the one elven ring that doesn't get passed around. And in this episode, 3 different people wear it.
It's just,
Nenya is given to Galadriel, and then she wears it forever and then never gives it away. And 3 people wear it this episode. It was bad enough when Elrond took it. When Elrond took it a few episodes ago when she was being captured, that was bad enough. But people are actively wearing this piece of jewelry that it belongs just to Galadriel.
it was so, I'm at a lot, as you can see, I was at a loss for words watching this. I was like, what is happening? Why is Adar wearing the ring? And then later, why is Elrond wearing the ring?
Who else is going to wear the ring? Gil-galad?
Is Gil-galad going to put it on? Gil-galad is going to add it to his his collection of rings?
Fist of jewelry?
Right? Oh my god.
What a painful fisting that would be.
Yeah, I guess it would be, huh? I guess it would be painful. Oof, lots of scarring. Ouch.
I thought it was interesting that they alluded to it earlier in this season where they give Nenya healing powers, but Nenya has healing powers now.
Yes. Yeah. It is official. I'm fine with it. I don't think it's...
Why not?
It's fine. Why not? Two other people who are not supposed to be wearing the ring are wearing the ring.
Why not make it a cleric ring?
Nenya having healing powers is like the least of my concerns at this point.
Right. I'm like, there's nothing to say that it doesn't have any kind of, like, because we don't know what the specific powers of these rings are, other than they're able to create, like, a sanctuary for the elves and everything, but...
Exactly.
And bolster their inherent powers, but what's to say that the rings themselves don't have any kind of magic to them?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, there's nothing that says that, but...
No. I can't think of anything either, but it's possible. Who knows? Who knows?
Speaking of Nenya, I did think it was really funny that Sauron immediately sees it and is like, mine, my own, my precious.
Mm-hmm. Oh, his eyes went boop.
His eyes were like, like cartoon eyes upon seeing gold. Like Ayuga.
Yes, exactly. Exactly that. Yeah, he was immediately like, oh, yes,
that's
please.
Pretty.
Gimme, gimme, gimme. That's pretty. Yeah, do we want to...
We kind of skipped around a little bit.
We did.
But yes, so Glug shows up and Adar goes to his side because that's his kid, presumably, or the orc that he cares about the most, his second in command, and then Glug kills him. Mm-hmm. The orcs all kill him. Adar.
In a scene very reminiscent of the opening of the season.
Yes.
Which I think we talked about this last episode as well, where we were like, I feel like that might happen, like a sort of parallel to Sauron's previous form being killed by Adar. And yeah, there we have it. Look at that. Look at us go.
I mean, it makes sense that Sauron was able to... Because I didn't buy it when they were like, Sauron did this to him when he wouldn't be convinced. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened.
Yeah, I was like, I smell a stunt here. I smell a stunt. As the great Alyssa Edwards would say. But what was I going to say? I completely lost my train of thought now. Oh my god. I can't remember what I was going to say.
That's okay.
Oh my god.
Was it about Adar?
Yeah, probably. Oh, yes, I do. Thank you. That was about Adar. It was also like, I mean, just as Adar and Galadriel were essentially talking peace terms between elves and the orcs, and I also think he was being genuine when he said that. Like, I think it was coming from a genuine place. Now, would that peace have lasted? Who knows? But I think it would have started that way anyway.
Yeah.
But of course. Of course.
No, I thought it was good. I thought it was fun when Sauron showed up in his fancy new attire. Like, he went for an outfit change.
I mean, you have to. He got all that blood on him from Celebrimbor. He had to get all that blood out, you know? I'm sorry.
And then we see...
Celebrimbor. I'm sorry, No, I'm apologizing to Celebrimbor.
Oh. Okay, good. As long as you're not apologizing to me. And then we see pretty much Sauron and Galadriel fight 1v1 with swords and Morgoth's crown.
Yep.
The title of our episode of like 5 or 6 episodes ago was you can't, even if you're Galadriel, you can't 1v1 Sauron. And that turns out to be true.
Yes, indeed. We were correct.
We were, in fact, correct about that. I wasn't prepared for all of the face changing that he did, but it makes sense.
No.
It was really cool.
It absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I appreciated it.
The one I was not prepared for was Galadriel versus Galadriel.
No, I don't think anyone's prepared for Galadriel versus Galadriel. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. I was momentarily concerned when Galadriel was stabbed by the crown, and then I very quickly remembered, oh, it's Galadriel, she's fine.
That's the thing. I was a little bit surprised as well, because I was like, oh, that's not a wound they can easily heal. But yeah, again, it's Galadriel.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Galadriel just pulled an Elrond, but without the water beneath her. That was a long way to fall. They did a wide shot of it.
Yeah.
They did a wide shot of it, and she was just a little speck falling across the cliff.
So, because I understand that elves are a little bit more, they're
hardier.
They're a little bit more, they're hardier than men. I get that. But that was very high that she fell from. It was hella high.
The tree broke her fall. You could kind of see that. But,
yeah.
That tree is still hard.
I don't know about that.
Can Galadriel fly?
Maybe.
No.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, when Sauron shows up, and Galadriel is just standing there, which I guess she's frozen. I guess she, she freezes. Because, in my notes, I was like, girl, can you run? Girl, run. Get out.
Run.
Run.
Just go.
Just, please leave. You can't. But then I was like, oh, I mean, of course, first I think she was frozen, and then she decided this is my one chance to potentially try and defeat Sauron. So, I get it.
A little bit of hubris from her.
Just a tad.
She's allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I thought that the fight between Galadriel and Sauron was really well done. I wish they had focused on it a little bit longer. As one scene specifically, as opposed to, it was broken out a lot.
Yeah, instead of cutting back and forth. Yeah, I agree. I wish it had been one long extended thing. I think, yeah. But it was good. It was well done. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it'll be... I think it was good. It was well done. It was just, it could have been improved a little bit.
Yeah. I did like the line, "It is not my wish to harm you." And Galadriel very sarcastically replies, "Do you wish to heal me?" Which, perfect.
Good little bit of sarcasm from Galadriel.
Mm-hmm. And then the line when Sauron is like, it was right when, after he stabbed her, and he's like, "I would have put a crown on your head and all Middle Earth would have kneeled to you," and whatnot. And I was like, oh, the fangirls are going to go crazy for this.
Oh my god, yes. And they would have
I can already see the gift sets, the photo sets on Tumblr of this moment specifically with the words sort of inlaid on the gifts. I can see it already.
I hate it all so much. I hate shipping Galadriel and Sauron. That's it's so stupid.
This is not, listen, if y'all haven't figured out before, up until this point, this is not a safe space for Galadriel and Sauron's shippers.
Haladriel.
That's what they're called. Oh god.
Like Halbrand and Galadriel.
You know what? I did know that because I have it muted on Twitter because it was making me crazy. Anyway.
I mean, I guess that's the best way to put it. Haladriel. Galadrion. There's no other better.
Galadrion is... No, there's nothing else better than that.
Haladriel. It's stupid. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I wrote down here, Galadriel being stabbed by Morgoth's crown is not going to be an easy wound to heal, even with the magic of the elves and their rings. And then, yeah, everybody put on Nenya.
Everybody and their mother put on Nenya. Yeah.
It's so special. So dumb. Before that, there's this scene where the orcs are about to burn a bunch of Celebrimbor's scrolls and stuff.
Did we write the same thing?
And Elrond was like, "Don't do that, kill us instead." And this orc doesn't give a shit.
I was like, Elrond, you fucking tool. Why would you think the orc wouldn't absolutely trash all of Celebrimbor's shit?
That's such a dumb... It's like the burning of Alexandria, and I get it.
Sure.
The burning of the Library of Alexandria, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But it don't make sense.
Mm-mm.
It's such a dumb argument. There's so many dumb arguments in this episode.
Yeah. I was just like, Elrond, it's just, and it was so it was sincere to the point where I thought he was like trying to trick them into doing it because there was something hidden there and it was going to explode on them. That's what I thought. And then when it just lit on fire, I was like, oh, okay, well.
No, I did not think that he was that smart. I did not think Elrond was that smart at all. I think Elrond was just being a doofus and a nerd. Just a huge-ass nerd for Celebrimbor.
A huge-ass nerd. Oh my god.
Which he should be.
He should be. Celebrimbor is great. He deserves to be honored and all of that jazz. But, like, I mean, this is not... This particular moment, the orcs, listen, trying to reason with them in this moment is not...
Not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sad to see Glug die.
That was unfortunate. I could see it coming.
Oh, I didn't see it coming at all.
Really? Okay.
No, I was so sad that Sauron just killed him because Glug was such an earnest follower of Sauron. And I get it. Doesn't care.
Sauron is not a loyal hoe. Sauron is not a loyal hoe. He does not care. He will allow people to serve him until he no longer needs them anymore. And then he's like, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
It is sad though. It's unfortunate.
No, I understand. It was just really sad to me because I really liked Glug this season.
Yeah. And he killed his father, for lack of a better word. He killed his father for this. And this is what was repaid to him, which, I mean, this is what following Sauron is, unfortunately.
Yeah. I did. So near the end of the episode, we see the elves kind of like safe in this little sanctuary. I don't think it's Lothlorien because Lothlorien is not founded at this time.
Okay. Because I put in my notes too. I was like, is this Lothlorien? Because these are the vibes that I'm getting.
Yeah, it was founded in the Third Age by Amroth, who was a different elf.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think it's Lothlorien. I think it's just like the verbiage they used was like it was a sanctuary protected by the rings of the elves or something. So who knows? Maybe they're making it going to be Lothlorien.
Maybe they are. They might be. Because those were definitely the vibes. Because that is exactly what Lothlorien is. Like it's
right.
You know, it's very much that. So
it's just like Elrond creates Rivendell.
Yep.
Galadriel has Lothlorien, which she doesn't become Lady of until the Third Age. But yeah.
Yeah. We'll see though.
I did have a nitpicky thing about Galadriel having the ring put on her finger by Elrond.
Yeah.
It didn't vibe for me. It should have been Elrond just giving the ring to Galadriel and being like, hey, this is yours.
Yeah. After he spent all season shitting on her and saying, oh, the 3 rings are evil, they're bad, don't wear it, don't do it, you're also evil, and now, like, no apology. Just like, here you go.
Here's your ring. I used it, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's all I kind of had about it looks like the elves are going on the offensive. Bringing the battle to Sauron, which will be good in season 3.
Yeah, looking forward to Arondir is alive. I was very happy to see that, actually. I hope he's integrated more into the rest of the elves in the show.
Right.
I hope he finds that sort of connection that he's been very lost this season, and has kind of been on his own. And so I hope he finds connection again with the elves from Lindon, and then also now I guess the remainder of the elves from Eregion. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hope he's able to have a better showing in season 3 because he was not featured prominently at all in this season, which was very unfortunate.
Yeah, because I really like him. I really like his character. I wish we had seen more of him, honestly.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
No, overall, I think this was a much better season than season 1. But I feel like the bar was very low.
Yes, I also agree. It was much better. It was still a little bit too much was being done. There was a lot going on. A lot going on. And Yeah. When you have two big sort of plot points, like, and you know what? I'm going to say three big plot points because I'm going to include the dwarves and Khazad-dûm in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because the story of Khazad-dûm and how it becomes Moria and all of that and the dwarves and their plight, it is also a big plot point, I think. When you have three big plot points like that, it's a lot, you know? And then you also add in sort of the remainders of like there's the remainders of Numenor, like they're sort of separated. You had Isildur that was on the other side of Middle Earth, like and then you have the Stranger and Poppy and Nori, and we're trying to keep track of all of these different plot points, and it was just a little bit too much.
It was a lot. It was a lot,
Mm-hmm.
all the time, and it's hard to know what's important if everything gets screen time.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, because like I get it. Like the show is primarily focused on the Rings of Power,
Mm-hmm.
and so if that's the case, that should be the main plot point, and that should be the one that all of the other ones tie into at some point. With,
Right.
You know, Numenor is like, I love Numenor. I love I'm fascinated by the story, the fall, all of that. The kings that come from that line. I want to see it, but I almost feel like, and we've kind of said this before, I kind of feel like it should be its own show. Like it should be its own separate thing, because it's so, at least at this point, it's pretty disconnected from the forging of the rings.
Right, because they have nothing to do with it.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean they're not important, but...
Yeah, Galadriel and Halbrand go there in season 1 because they're saved by Numenor, but why did we need to be introduced to Numenor that early?
That's my question.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show just needs a little bit of streamlining and a little bit of, I don't know, streamlining. Streamlining is just the word.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's the thing, like the ratio of things that I liked versus things that I didn't like. Like the things that I like are that list is much longer. I liked a lot of things this season. There were a lot of parts of it that I really, really enjoyed. It's just that I kept getting lost in it, and forgetting about characters that were there. Like I shouldn't be forgetting that Isildur is there.
That's the thing. We shouldn't be forgetting about Isildur.
That's wild.
In Rings of Power.
This is what I'm saying. Like it's I don't know. And so I get, in that sense, I understand why Numenor was involved so early, because Elendil and more directly Isildur are very much tied into Sauron's into the later plot with that. But I don't know. They still, I don't know. It just felt very disconnected for me.
Yeah. No, I think that, yeah. Overall, I think this was a very good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think it was,
episode 7 was so much better.
Yes, I agree. I actually enjoyed episode 7 more than this one, and it's almost completely because it just felt like there was too much going on here.
Yeah.
Episode 7 was much more streamlined, and it really only had a few plots to focus on, which I think works better. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my god, I can't stop yawning.
My god.
Maybe that's a sign.
We're really keeping you up, huh?
Yeah, it's all of 6:30 p.m.
I was gonna say, it's quite early by you.
It's getting darker. The light is dimming and so must I.
Oh, so melodramatic. Slipping into your Tolkien vibes.
Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed listening to us talk about these 8 episodes of Rings of Power this season.
Yeah.
We enjoyed recording them quite a bit, although I am glad that it's finally over. I'm glad that there won't be Rings of Power for another couple of years.
Me too. It's difficult keeping up with the schedule of recording and trying to stay on top of it. My goodness.
And avoiding some spoilers.
I was dodging them left and right. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I was actually able to avoid
I was too.
of the season finale.
I got spoiled a bit by like a couple of people on Twitter regarding Gandalf.
Okay.
But I knew that was going to happen.
It's, yeah.
And I got spoiled by the kiss.
Right.
Because the internet blew up a little bit about the kiss.
That was maybe for the best. I think it was good that we were prepared for that.
I am glad that I was forewarned. Because if I hadn't been, I would have been very upset.
Yep. And I appreciate you then warning me about it, because I also would have been quite upset about it.
Yeah. It was definitely, it was special. The kiss was special. That goes down as the highlight of my no thank you. Do not want. Never again.
Absolutely not.
Anyway. Thank you for listening to this episode of Queers of Time. If you would like to follow us, we're on Facebook. No, we're not on Facebook. We've never been on Facebook.
My God, no.
We're on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Tumblr. You can also follow us on our Discord, where we have lots of fun discussions about stuff. We're recently talking about Agatha All Along. Which, are you watching?
Oh, yes. I love it.
Okay.
I'm obsessed.
Agatha All Along is great.
It's so good. It's so much fun.
And yeah, we talk about lots of cool stuff in there. We also have our book club coming up.
That's right.
Yes. And if you want to, you can also follow us on Patreon. We have some great rewards there. You can listen to the episodes early. You can watch us as we record the episode. You can watch my room progressively get darker and darker as the night goes on.
It is a thing to behold. It's great.
But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.